Pleased to be here today with Tony Balkwill from Nithfield Agronomy and Research. And today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the issues that growers are having out in the field and some of the trends that might be up and coming here in the future. Could I just get your thoughts on some of the emerging trends you've seen, maybe specifically from a weed management side, but some of the things that your customers are currently struggling with?
I think one of the biggest trends we've seen over the past 3 or 4 seasons, if not longer, is the switch to planter systems and wider rows, and with that has come along some challenges with weed control, kind of a re-looking at residual systems and programs, simply because of, you're trying to capture that canopy timing, and it is not the same program that you would use in a conventional system to set up your herbicide program.
So where in the past, where a lot of growers maybe were on those narrow rows, and depending on they were really relying on that canopy to help suppress weed development. Now with the planter systems, wider rows, we're seeing more weeds probably emerge.
Yes.
As that canopy's taking time to close in.
So the challenge is always weed-free at canopy, or you look behind us in a 30-inch system, we've got a full canopy, you can almost not really even tell it's 30 inches. When you go back, weeks and a month ago, you definitely have that potential for escapes within the system. So it starts with definitely a residual foundation early on. Mm-hmm. This field was sprayed with boundary initially, and then it's a timing game where you're trying not to spray too early, believe it or not, where you need to spray in an efficiency where you've sprayed and you've caused that weed control with canopy closure at the same time.
Right, that makes perfect sense. So do you see more growers then starting to adopt, getting away from that 1 or 2 passes of glyphosate and really trying to look at more sustainable long-term farming systems, adopting residual plus contact herbicide programs in their bean management systems?
Yeah, as beans have become more of an intense, higher managed crop, we've taken a look at fungicides and fertility and wider rows and better planting equipment and stuff, and it's just followed suit that growers are starting to pay more attention to that and invest more. Weed-free periods and critical timing has been a lot more of a foundation for success in wide rows, and it needs to be kind of a base if you're going to succeed in wide row systems like this.
So I'm thinking back to 10 years ago, several years ago, 10 years ago, a lot of the customers I used to work with, it was a 1-pass, 2-pass glyphosate system, and if 1 liter didn't work, let's just bump it up, go 1.5 liters, and if that didn't work, 2 liters. What are you seeing though with the glyphosate resistance, with the changes and shifts in weeds out there? Are the customers, or the farm customers you're working with, really getting the fact that they need to change up their management systems?
Yeah, I think the key is, the take home is glyphosate, no herbicide program should be built around glyphosate. It's a great tool to use within seasons, within the technology that we've invested in within plants and varieties and hybrids. Yeah. And that's kind of where it ends and starts in a way. If you're building around, a multi-rotation herbicide program with residuals and whatnot, glyphosate is simply a small tool in the toolbox.
Right.
But there's a lot more other things in that toolbox that need to be looked at first. And those multiple modes of actions, rotation of chemistries within crops, if you're having a bigger picture of a corn, soybean, wheat rotation,
yes.
It needs to be planned years before for the year you're planting.